I think it would be very funny for us to talk about demons and exorcism.
Let's just quickly.
Party tricks with JakoJako. What's your best party trick?
Party trick.
Party trick, yes.
I can like have funny dance moves. I can copy people dancing.
Can you?
Yes, but what I can't copy is people dancing out of rhythm.
Saying you don't have a TikTok too where you learn how to dance.
No.
No? Why
No.
not?
I don't need to. I have eyes. I have eyes and rhythm.
So you don't do tutorials on there?
On TikTok?
Yes.
No, I don't have TikTok yet. Do you think it's worth it?
Yet. I'm afraid.
But you're afraid that it's important?
Platform might change. Maybe Instagram's gonna die. I mean, we had this discussion off camera. Maybe Facebook, like Instagram is gonna be the new Facebook, and then it's gonna die one day. Be forced to consume on there. I don't know. We will see.
But maybe also TikTok will be banned in Europe. That TikTok will die.
Yeah. So the US is gonna ban it next year if they don't get sold, because like Chinese government is like doing a lot of illegal stuff in the US and like in Europe. So your data is not safe on there. I mean, they know where I live, so it's okay. I think no, it's
Well,
not.
our data is anyway not safe anywhere.
Yeah.
Even though Germans like to try to keep the thought that you're not able to be tracked or something.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
Do you still have a friend who has like a regular, like kind of like a flip phone or something without, like not a smartphone?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't think so. I know it's a thing for the dealers, but
That doesn't count.
it's
They have two phones. Yeah.
business phone.
I'm thinking if I still have some. When I was working at Schneider's, I remember there were like two people who had no smartphone. But then when I left, they already had a smartphone, both of them.
When was that?
When I left Schneider's, like depends on what you call it, because I was fading out over years. I was just reducing my hours over and over. And in the very end, it was just one day a week. And then in the very end, I forgot to go to work. And then Schneider was so nice, Herr Schneider himself. He was like, "Don't you want to do like maybe we find a way remote?" I'm like, "Come on, Alter. I'm not responsible anymore. I'm sorry, but it's really nice that you like to work with me, and it's a compliment. And I do love to work here as well.
Yeah.
But I need to take this wave now, and maybe if it doesn't work out, I'm very glad if I can come back."
And that's where all the passion for music came from.
I mean, it was there already before, but
Yes. I mean, when you cultivate it and like dig deeper into
where I made a lot of connections to the industry and where I learned the most about Eurorack synthesizer. Yeah, in that shop, because you can read a lot about it, and I read all the books and I binged all the tutorials. But if you don't have a system at home, it's really hard to learn because you need to experiment and
practical thing.
Yeah, and you need to feel the knob. You need to make mistakes, and then you say because then those unique sounds come out because you made a mistake, and then you learn something, and then because they have all the modules which are existing, maybe not all of them, but most of them, and you have the opportunity to play there for free, and that's why I learned there the most. And then if you didn't get something, you could just ask somebody. Not everyone has always the right answer, but
That's a creative hub. That's so cool.
It's the modular hub there, yeah.
So you were literally like playing, like creating music every day, and that was work in this case.
Yeah.
I mean, like you made it your work by being at work.
Yes, I was in the showroom where all the modules were, and people come usually before they want to buy something, they want to try it out.
Yes.
And they need somebody there in case, because even if you want to try a module, you don't understand the system you're in front of because it's a different system you have at home.
Yes.
So you need to, sometimes you need to know, where's an oscillator, where's the output, how can I hear it through my headphones?
Sure.
Is there another filter? So I was kind of advising in that showroom. And then at one point I remember during Corona they tried to make me be a salesperson, like also writing the invoice and stuff, and I just messed everything up. That was not my thing. And I tried to ignore that side of the job for a long time, but then they were kind of like trying to force me to do that, and that didn't work out.
That's when you faded out of the business.
Ciao, Leute. No, I just realized it's zero my thing. I just made mistakes the whole time.
I feel you so bad. But it's okay to be a creative and like to concentrate on that, because like you cannot be good at everything, and that's fine.
Yeah. And also I'm a little hyperactive, so I can't sit the whole fucking day. And I remember I had a short period where I was working in an office because I was a nurse before, and then I did kind of like, I don't know how you call this in English, Pflegedienstleitung, nursing management or something. And in order to finalize everything, I had to do like a trainee program, which was in a management position in an office for a nursing service. And I hated that. I hated everyone. I don't fucking care if they see that or not. It was just so many rules which didn't make sense. So much talky about your colleagues. So much like depression in everyone. And kind of like a concurrence feeling, like there was zero freedom. And I remember me also being hyperactive, and being hyperactive as a nurse is perfect because you have so many things to do to the same time. So you do like a little bit here, a little bit there. You stay friendly, you're like, but there I couldn't. I had to like focus on sitting still because I was annoying everyone with being like hyper.
Yeah.
I hated that. I don't know how we ended up here, but
sounds like hell.
yes.
Yeah, we talked about
But
jobs,
I
so-
managed to get through that, and in the end I said like, can I drive more shifts instead of staying here and doing the planning or whatever, teaching me the planning, because I was better in the other, and I just
Yeah,
hated
but
everyone.
that's the thing. You cannot do everything. Talking about hell.
Hell.
Hell. Can you evoke demons?
Evoke means
Invoke. Yeah.
getting them out of their...
Yes. Of their home.
Yes, I can.
Verschwören. Nee, schwören. What's the German word for that?
Ich weiß nicht.
Invoke. Get demons out of hell.
I can. Yes.
Show us.
I need a ritual for ich brauche Rasierklingen, Goats Blut,
Oh Gott.
ein paar Schamhaare von irgendeinem. Nein, no, but I think everyone.
That was not on the rider.
I didn't even send you a rider. But yeah, maybe I should put that on my rider to make myself a little bit more mysterious.
Goat, blood and Schamhaare.
Von wem? Arschhaare. Nee, danke.
Work-life balance is a myth.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
It's just about harmony. We just love what we do and we just do it every day.
Also work-life balance is a myth. I think if we compare it to what I said before when I was working in the office, everything I could think of was like the time after work. I was like, I can't wait until I can read this manual, or I can't wait until I'm like, when this delivery of the music store arrives with a new monitor, or, you know, just to figure out, to make progress in my personal interest. But I thought, okay, just half a year of this training program and then you're done. But somehow I never thought about like making this as a profession or making money from music. That was never in my idea. I just thought it's a really cool hobby, I want to continue. And I thought I'm going to stay a nurse forever because I really love helping people. And I think I miss it also a little bit, but I'm drifting. So I think there a work-life balance was really important for me, and the days off were holy, where I was like trying to plan in parties, like that I attend somewhere, see some sets, that I have enough time to make some music, learn a new instrument or something, or like a new synth. But now, so many thoughts. No, so many thoughts, because I remember then I was changing to be a professional musician or something. I don't know, somebody who makes a living from it. I wouldn't say I'm professional. And I remember Rothead saying to me once, it was like a key memory, where we had like a show together somewhere, and I was like, fuck, I'm so tired. And he was like, you better get used to that. And I was like, ow. Okay. But, and then he was like, and also when you now quit your job at Schneider's, or like you're not working there anymore, it's not that you're going to have more time to produce the music. You will still work, you will work different, but you will have the same amount of work, if not even more.
What's changed over the last years?
I don't have to work with people I hate anymore. I'm in an environment I chose. It's my own bubble, which can sometimes also makes it stressful because private and work life merges, and if you want to take a break, it's harder because also your private life is involved in that. But then I have a couple of hacks to escape that. I don't know if you have, but
Please, yeah, it's very difficult.
For me,
What are yours?
Yeah, for me it's I visit family. You know, so I mean, if you have family, if you don't have family, it must be like friends or something. But I go and visit my mom in the village or in the countryside. And there I have a mini studio in case I want to work or I feel like I'm not productive. But there it's like the whole life is different. All this bubble we have here in Berlin, everything what's important here for us is not existing there. So, but this I figured out like recently. that this helps me. I always thought it's like extending your trip after a gig or something, but it doesn't help somehow. It's still nice, it feels like a holiday, but I need this easy life. I need to walk the dog, I need to cook, I need to sleep early. Like, it sounds so basic, but it helps. And getting out of this hustle mode Berlin has. Oh my God, have you seen the exhibition? Oh, there's this pop-up event there.
Something.
Closing off. On my birthday. Oh, he turns 30. I can't skip that, you know, like all this kind of thing. Creative meetup and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you can end up being in environments where this work and private life merged. And I don't identify with that anymore. And you like them, they're friends. Even though you work with them, they're also friends. You ask them, how are you doing? And then they say, next weekend I'm here, I'm working on this EP right now. And I know, dude, I wasn't asking what are you working on or what are your next steps. I'm asking how are you feeling, you know? Emotions.
That's a big part.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Sorry?
How do you deal with that? Dealing with your emotions on a daily basis?
I cry sometimes. Like, no, I'm emotional anyway.
Yeah.
And it's easy for me to express that. It's more hard for me to suppress. So I'm pretty open. Like,
must be very difficult, since we do evolve in a scene where friends or work and work is friends. It's very difficult, for you to.
I have real friends as well who are not in the music industry.
Yeah, you split that up.
Sorry.
You split that up easily.
They go party and they're involved and they know people as well, but they have jobs in another industry, and they don't identify as much, and they don't rely on the scene that much. And I think that is really important. Like I said, like if you don't maybe have a family, you can go and have a rest and just escape the bubble, the Berlin bubble. Floop. Nothing is important here anymore. What is important in Berlin? I have friends which are, which have the same. And that's really important because sometimes you need a couple of opinions, and not of somebody who is work related, and not of
way too deep into that.
Yeah, primed and yeah, I don't know.
When you do these breaks, how long do they? How long are these breaks?
Like for example, if I have a show in Amsterdam, it's not that far from where my mom lives, and then I just extend it for like a week or something.
Okay.
But I do proper breaks. Like I went with my mom to Vietnam this year, at the beginning January, February, and it was just 2 months, and a couple of friends, and we just had like beer on the pool for breakfast, and I brought a modular synth, minimal setup, and it was just to calm down, and then I did like ambient just for my own personal pleasure, and then in the end it was an album which is going to be released on mute. So this is like the nourishing moments,
How do you split then like the music you do for fun or as a hobby than the one that you create, like let's call it for your career, for business?
I mean, I try to keep this sacred still, that this is my hobby, and it's producing. I try to do this, like I don't do it when I'm stressed, and when somebody says like, hey, I know it's last minute, but do you think you could make a remix? And then I'm like, I'm not sure, like maybe keep me in mind for the next time, but then they still push, and I'm like, I can do it, but it won't be that great. And they were like, would really help me if you would do this or something, and I feel like a little pressure. I do it, but it doesn't feel as pleasant as if I would just for fun.
So why do you do it?
I do it to people a favor. If they ask me and I do like them, and but yeah, it's a good question. I should be a bit more. I could be a bit more resistant then, but I don't know. Sometimes it's also a challenge. You have like a deadline, and you're like, okay, I can do this. Dopamine, but yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's much better if somebody is like a Daniel Miller who runs Mute Records, who's like, whatever you want to do it. Just let me know. And then as soon as you have an idea, let's go. And feel free. It's important that you feel comfortable with what you do. And this is much better. Less rules, the better for me. But yeah, was wollte ich mal sagen? That's my thought.
Yeah, creativity. Like how do you live your creativity like on a daily basis?
Yeah, because you said how do I keep this? Your initial question was hobby music and like business career music. I think if I had a business mind, everything would turn business, but because I have zero intelligence in that, like money and you have a management. And I'm really bad with like coordinating, scheduling, coming in time. Like I have a hard time with that. Yeah, if I had this mind, I would probably record everything I'm doing. Often I make music like on a daily basis. I just try something out. There's like a new technique I want to try out, or there's a new module I lent from somebody, or something I want to try out, a certain sound, and then I just noodle around, and over the day I tweak a little bit here. It runs in the background. It's just like a little patch, and in between I cook. It's running in my room. But I remember people telling me all the time, just record it. Like, there's so much material you do, and just record it and release it. People would love that. Or make a live stream, make a Twitch. And I'm like, that's how I keep it sacred. That's how I keep it for myself and my hobby. It feels a little bit like of a OnlyFans if I would film every time I would do, something. That's my time. And it's for me to then, in the end, get in those new technique more compressed on a release or something.
Yeah. So you show only the very, very best of what you're
No,
producing.
not the very best. It's what the label likes then, probably the most. Sometimes the best things for me aren't an interest for other people. Because for me, the most interesting things are the ones where I got a challenge and I managed to do something I was like trying to figure out the whole time. And sometimes I'm feeling things are more worthy for I give them more credit if I worked hard on them. But sometimes the things which come out with ease and leisure, which I think, I'm not sure if I'm proud about this because it didn't feel like it was enough effort, people like the most because they have this kind of like a certain, I don't know, sound to it, lightness, or, it maybe sounds lush or maybe less control-y.
Yeah. Man-made? Like man-made, I mean, you get me.
Yeah. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, for me it's...
Controlled makes sense. Controlled makes sense. Like it's more spontaneous.
Yeah, maybe. And more playful.
Yeah, that's... yeah.
And then I'm like, that just took half an hour, that patch.
Yeah.
And I just recorded because I thought I want to make a post out of it. But then somebody says, like, do you have this? Could we release that track? And they're like, yeah? This? What about this one? And they're like, yeah, it's too much, overproduced maybe as well. Sometimes you can verschlimmbessern.
Yeah. Where is that limit where you tell yourself, okay, stop, I don't want to go over that point?
When it gets not emotional anymore, when I don't feel anything anymore, I don't hear it anymore. I'm not an overthinker anyway. But
the moment you produce and like you listen over these things like over and over and over and over.
I think as soon as I'm able to show it to somebody and to see their reaction, then I'm not ashamed anymore that I didn't work enough on it or that it doesn't sound finished enough. When there's something, for example, there's a certain frequency band which I'm not sure how to control that.
Yeah.
I finish the rest of the track so that I can go into another studio and say, like, can you listen and tell me what is wrong with that bass or what,
Perfect.
And then I'm not ashamed, but it has to be first in a certain level that I'm able to show it to other ears. We're releasing that so that a lot of people can hear this, and I think it's kind of nice to listen to it on all the different media, like on the phone, on the headphones, on the car, at somebody else's studio, because also my room is not treated and it's not professional at all. I have those monitors you can calibrate, but that's the max of what I can do in this room.
Yeah.
There's high ceiling. Altbau, Flutter-Echos überall. It's my sleeping room. That's the bass trap, my bed and my Schrank. Denglish. But so it's really nice to go into professional studios, people who invested a little more.
Yeah.
And then people who have way more experience on their ears because they are older. And this is how we can learn. And it's nice if somebody then says, oh, can I download that because maybe I want to try it in my next step, then it's the biggest compliment and you get a little bit of like, it wasn't that bad, Because self-doubt is a thing as well.
How should we start this subject? Because like this is a broad one. Because self-doubt, how does it feel? How does it start? Like the feelings when it starts, how do you feel it?
I think I'm quite okay. I'm okay with myself. I know that it's okay to make mistakes. I know I never thought if I make a release, I make it perfect. I wait so long until I'm perfect because I don't think that exists. We learn forever as humans or artists or whatever. And I don't think we ever finished because also our characteristic changes, our influences change, and so on. So I always thought, like, if somebody likes it and somebody says they want to release it, then let's try it out. And even if some people don't like it, dann ist es halt so. And even if I don't like it in 5 years anymore, which always is the case, then it's also fine, because this is then a documentation of my progress. I can look back and I say, oh, how naive, the baseline, haha, or something like that. And I think it's okay to fail, and this is... But I think to get back to your question, I do have self-doubt, and especially when I'm on my period. Because that hormones are a little crazy. There's no orientation much anymore, and you feel like shit physically and mentally. But then the worst is performing and being the mood deliverer. Then there's a lot of self-doubt. And in the end, it's just like playing tracks of other people, having a nice time in a room with people who are coming to pay entrance to have a nice time. So everything is cool, it's a safe space to have fun. But if you're on a period and these like stupid thoughts are coming... and
what's the party trick for that?
It's just going and doing it, and then it's like not that bad as you in your fantasy,
Yeah.
How do you deal with it? How does it feel for you?
Boring question. I've heard that before.
Because you're an artist yourself,
Yeah. So self-doubt. It evolved a lot over the last years. Nowadays, it's just shut the fuck up and go back to work. Because I've changed who I'm listening to. I have the feeling that in the nowadays world, we tend to think it's okay to get softer somehow, but the world gets tougher. In the industries where, like, whether it's like the tattoo industry or the music industry, it's really tough. There is a lot of people, there is a lot of concurrence, and if you don't make it for yourself, no one's gonna save you. If you're doing the me stuff, etc., like, it's okay to feel shit and then talk to friends, talk to family.
It's okay to have the feelings.
Of course. Like, I'm not saying that neglect them. Acknowledge them, write them down, but don't forget to focus. So set yourself goals regularly, get your shit together that makes you feel good, eat good, sleep well. Self-care. In my case, like, drawing does me a lot of good.
It's probably like meditation for you.
100%. It's so meditative. Like, a friend of mine told me a few days ago, like, hey, do you still meditate that much? And I was like, no, but I do it differently and in better ways. But like, now that you say it, drawing is my meditation. So
I can't meditate. Like, I tried, but my mind is crazy. But I figured as well, when I'm doing patches physical with haptic, with cables, plugging them in, touching different knobs, having like fields which distract me from my thoughts, and not having a screen because it's a synthesizer, and just hearing, and all I see is blinking lights. This is my meditation as well. And you get like kind of like a trance while you do this, and then suddenly it's like, fuck, 3 a.m. You have to sleep.
There you go. And this is things I influence, for example, as I said, like with food or with good music. That's also like why I listen. Like, please do that as well. Like, if you do have new music coming up, feel free to send it over to me. This influences me a lot when I'm drawing. And like, this really puts me in the zone where I'm the most creative, and this has a huge impact on the drawings I'm doing. And whether it's like, depending on the genre of music I'm listening to, this is going to have the impact on the drawing, on the style, and on the motive, etc. And like, it's very, I'm doing nowadays have you heard of the 100 Days Challenge? So it's the idea of like producing one piece of art every day for 100 days. Like, because I do have the podcast next to that.
If I would do that, I would probably do like 5 days and then I would stop.
That's how it started, but then you just continue. Again, discipline, you just stick to that. And so I cannot do it like once every day, but like, there is days where I do, like, I exploded my record. I did like 8 drawings in 4.5 hours lately, just because I was like in that zone. So it doesn't need like to be for one complete day, but like really the thing of like sticking to a discipline, and creating these things, and then to enjoy it and to see a super quick evolution.
And these are external factors. Because sometimes people say, I'm not creative, or how do you maintain your creativity, or blah blah blah. But I think there are internal factors, and I think everyone has this somehow inside. And another internal factor is also discipline.
100%.
And external factors would be like a little bit of freedom, knowing you can have a nap whenever you need it, knowing there's food in the fridge, you don't need to leave the house first to get the soy milk for a coffee. External factors.
Create your environment and then use it. Because like, once you really created this environment that works for you, you can move mountains, discipline, etc. Like, I mean, the channel is like not even 2 years old. We started to produce the first episode in January last year, we released in March last year, and we exploded it. Just because like, we are hardworking people, really dedicated, want to do something big for the scene, and it works. And like once you are disciplined, you can do whatever you want. And then you have to work with the right
If you're healthy,
people.
yeah. If you don't have like health problems or something.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. But then again, like in most of the cases, get enough sleep, don't get too smashed too often, have good food. It does the job. It's all about
But I
the
think
balance.
it's also a little bit of like where you're coming from, because some people are, I don't know how to say this in a friendly way, but some people are privileged and they can choose their path. They don't have to work since they're teenagers or something. And then if you are coming from an extremely wealthy family, you maybe did DJing already when you were like younger because you saw somebody and say, oh, I want to be a DJ. So they get you DJ classes or they get you the equipment. You can just afford
100%.
that. But if you are maybe coming from working class, you at one point figure out what it is you really want. So you have this dream, so you have to work for it. And then you have it. And then this is everything you have, and you need to stick to that. And you still have this working class attitude to it.
And that's the trick, because like I mean, like when you see the scene or like the very successful people, like nowadays, of course, like you have all the privileged people that do have it like more easy. Let's go like this, or like especially huge names where okay, like there was money for marketing in the beginning, but like when you have that work class attitude, you just go to fucking work. You work on improving your craft every single day, whether it's on like working or resting. But like you got that attitude, you're not lazy. And like if you cannot be lazy, if you can really be in love with what you're doing and be consistent and persistent enough, you're just gonna make it.
But being lazy is also important. I think it's part of creativity as well. Sometimes just letting like doop-be-doo, losing, like doing nothing, just being at the pool and drinking beer or eating chips or whatever. Sure. But then you come like, oh, actually, I've never tried that. You come to those like weird ideas, or you solve problems just because you were relaxing for a moment
100%.
Instead of overthinking or overworking it.
How do you deal with bad days?
My personal bad days?
Yeah.
I communicate that.
Yep.
When I have bad days, I'm like, I'm sorry I'm on my period, or I'm sorry I don't feel that well. Don't take it personal, Or like, can we turn the music down, or like if I'm in a car or something, because somehow I'm comparing a lot to touring lifestyle, but this is my recent life, being a lot on the car, at the airport, and in the train. But just being honest, kind of saying that so that nobody feels offended, because it's me, it's not them.
You're not a witch? Why not?
I don't know enough about witches.
It's not a job. There's books.
Huh?
There's books. There's the Bible of the devil.
Are you a witch?
Fun fact, my grand aunt was the last woman to get burned as a witch in the French part of Switzerland. So that shit's real. Yeah. There's even like an archive on my mother's hometown. There's like
you
everything.
You are a witch then.
I don't have a hat, but yeah, probably. So that shit's real. They fucking tortured her and they burned her down alive.
Alter, when was that?
15th century. If I need to double check.
So
but it's a true story. Like it's not made out.
Is it? Wasn't it also like Hungarian people a lot of this, or am I making that up now?
Europe, like the Inquisition, like it started in Spain and then it spread out pretty heavily with Christianity, and then every time a woman was a little bit too intelligent or like smarter than the Pope or the priest, they decided to torture and burn them. Make sense?
I'm a witch.